Hello, I'm Sam Ashurst, and I'm here with Gareth Evans and Iko Uwais, the director of The Raid and The Raid 2, and the star of The Raid and The Raid 2. Right. We're going to watch The Raid, we're going to talk about The Raid 2. It's going to be the last 20 minutes of the film, so if you want to watch along, get your Blu-ray out now of the original film, and if you don't have the Blu-ray, what are you doing with your life? Go out and buy it, and then come back. Right, you're back, good. We're going to put on the last 23 minutes, so join in and hope you enjoy it. So, straight into the drugs lab, this is such an amazing sequence.
This was stressful as hell.
Oh yeah?
This was this building, CTC Sanan, yeah?
Yeah,
CTC Sanan was like the most uncomfortable building you could ever hope to film in. It's just filled with like dust and bird shit everywhere. And we had to clean up as much as we could. And this was on the 5th floor. Right. So every time we would shoot, we'd have to climb up like 5 flights of steps to get there. Yeah. And then every time we had lunch, 5 flights back down and back up again. So it was like 3 times, 4 times a day you'd be climbing up and down these 5 flights of steps.
Amazing. And these the shots of the fighting are so clear, and even though there's so much going on, you know exactly where you are. Yeah. Now you prepared these in quite a special way, didn't you?
Yeah, we always do like a video storyboard to kind of like figure out where we're going to go. We'll figure out like exactly what the shots are to kind of like sell the choreography. And the thing that was kind of difficult with this fight, and kind of one of the things we loved about it, was the idea of having 3 different like heroes, sort of, well, 2.5 heroes, I guess, each doing like a different kind of fighting discipline, each doing a different style. So yeah, it was important to us to have like, you know, Dagu here, like played by Eka, one of the guys from Piranha Stunts. He was more of a sort of like a brute force type of fighter, you know, more sort of like aggressive, very powerful. And Iko is the more intricate, the more complex in terms of choreography. And then like, you know, Wahyu, the older guy, yeah, he's just insanely sort of just like, you know, just smashing everyone's faces into things. One thing to note here, actually, sorry, quick thing. All right, okay, coming up here. Now, this is Baseball Batman.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Like, he came in and was just like one of the fighters in the first raid, and yeah, we used him again, and he was part of the choreography team, and then we ended up casting him. So there he is.
And so, where did the
a lot easier in the first one?
Yeah. Where did the idea for Hammer Girl and Baseball Batman come from?
Hammer Girl was like the origin of that was this idea that we did the first movie Marantau using Silat Harimau, which is tiger style silat, and that's like using the palm of your hands and then the fingers like a claw. And so I wanted to do that style of silat again, but with like more of a weapons-based version. And so we were thinking, what can we use? And then like claw hammer seemed to be appropriate, and 2 just seemed all the better. So we knew we wanted a character to have those, and you know, this movie was such a sausage fest, the first one. So I was like, we should at least have one really cool badass female character, someone to show that she can do it just as good as the guys. And so yeah, that's where Hammer Girl came from.
And she didn't have the actress, it's Juliet, isn't it?
Julia Stell, yeah.
What was it like working with her, Iko? Because she didn't really have a background in martial arts, did she? So what was it like working with a sort of newcomer in that way?
Ya, dia emang belum punya, nggak ada sama sekali untuk basic bobo ya. Tapi apa kemauannya, motivasinya sangat bagus banget, dan semua apa yang dia kerjakan nggak ada yang mengeluh, jadi nggak ada kayak malas gitu, like lazy girl. Tapi dia semuanya kerjakan, latihan rajin, dan ya motivasinya sangat tinggi dari dia.
He said that like obviously she didn't have a background in martial arts, but what she did have was like this drive and this passion to kind of like learn really quickly too. She hadn't done any martial arts before in her life, and then all of a sudden she came with us. And like I'm deviating a little bit right now, but I gave her like a 5-day audition period. So the first 4 days she would practice and learn the choreography, and on the 5th day she'd have to present to us. And like literally on that 5th day, like she proved herself. So she was like, such a good fighter. There was no way we weren't going to cast her. And one of the benefits was like the fact is that like he was worried about like, you know, would she be lazy, would she be undisciplined?
Right.
But like every single day she was on time, every single day she worked hard, and every single day she kind of like, you know, focused and watched herself to see where her faults were in order to kind of better it by the next day.
Great.
And now we've cast it again on the next film that we're doing.
Oh,
we're
cool.
Producing with Timo directing.
Oh, excellent. Oh,
So
well, I'll be asking you about that in a minute, but here we have
Here we go.
Mad Dog,
Yeah.
Yen. What's it like working with him, Iko? Because obviously he maps out a lot of the fight sequences. you enjoy working with him?
Iya, kita kerja sama Yayan udah dari merantau Bu ya. Dari merantau, dan kita bikin koreo juga dari merantau. Kita bikin film kedua dari merantau. The Raid juga satu, kita bikin koreo sama dia. Banyak pengalaman yang saya ambil lah dari dia juga, dan kita sama-sama sharing.
So he was saying like, you know, obviously they've worked together a lot, and we worked together on Maranta, which was the first film. When he started off, it's the same kind of thing. This happened twice now, where like, you know, oh yeah, with the fan in the background there. If you watch it, sorry, I'll come back to what he says.
Yeah.
The fan in the background, it pissed me off because it's going in one direction at first, because we didn't have like the motor to make it go slowly as we wanted to. So basically, we had an art guy tap the fan with his finger.
Oh,
So
wow.
he would just tap every now and then for it to start turning. And then basically he was so fucking tired that when he was tapping it, at one point he was this, and then all of a sudden he went like that, he went the other direction.
Amazing.
And then none of us spotted it until after we'd already edited. And then like he was one of those art guys. He was so passionate. He was working so hard. But we were like, you ruined the fucking movie. And then he was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I don't give a shit. No one's gonna fucking notice it until you just pointed out.
Until now, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Eki. Actually, I'll give one more story. Yeah. Eki with the knife, the machete.
Oh yeah, my chick.
So yeah, so when he's in the car in that little wall space, and then the machete's in his face, right? There's a moment when the machete gets pulled slowly across his face, and he's like, oh, like that at the end. The very first take of that, Eki was the guy that was pulling the knife out, our art guy, the one who tapped the fan wrong, and so he's waiting there on the other side. And then when Iko's there, I got the camera there, and it's like a metal machete, so that it'll kind of create that little pinch to the skin.
Right.
And then like as he drags across slowly, it's not going to hurt. Right? So then like we're there, and then I call action, and because I went like, you know, action, he just went like that right out, and like your face, it was beautiful.
I know, because the action is really aggressive from you, Babu. You know, like action of pang. Okay.
Yeah, I remember looking at him on the monitor. Literally, he was just like. I was thinking, like, did my face really cut up?
Amazing.
But yeah, so that was like a little bit nerve-wracking.
And actually, I wanted to ask about the editing on the Raid 2, because you did something slightly unusual with that, in that you edited on the shoot, and you actually used it to inspire the crew. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
We've done, that's been something we've done like throughout the whole three movies we've done. It's been one of those processes where for me, I'm like, for the Raid 1 and the Raid 2 and for Maranta, it's like editing on location. First and foremost, it's used as a backup for me. It's like a safety net, and it gives me an opportunity to be able to kind of like see, is the scene working, is the fight working while we're still on location. So that if something's wrong, I'm still there. I don't have to spend any more money on another day of shooting. We could just go back in, get a couple of quick shots, and then fix it, and then we're done. We can all pack up and go home. But it also serves as this morale booster. So it also ends up helping us in terms of like having these moments where, you know, if the crew are tired and their hours are long and the stress is, the shoot is wearing everyone down, come over and take a look at this. This is what we did yesterday. This is like all that day's worth of work. Check this out. And then people get excited and they want to do this then.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's really cool. And I was wondering if you guys had seen Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Not yet. I'm dying to see it. Everyone keeps saying it's really great.
Yeah.
And I know they kind of name-checked us a little bit.
Yeah, well, I interviewed them last week, and
nice.
I asked, because I recognised a lot of the moves,
okay.
and I asked them if the Raid was an influence, and they're, huge influence.
Wow, okay.
So, like, I don't know, how do you feel about that?
It's pretty overwhelming for us. Like, I mean, to be honest, I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, if people just like the film, that's enough for us, you know. But for it to have had that kind of effect in a certain degree, it kind of blows our mind a little bit then, you know. So yeah, I'm overwhelmed by it. And I mean, we've seen that before, because I mean, like the guys who did Arrow did like a little moment where they paid homage to it, and so, you know, but they've been really cool about it as well. So I'm kind of, yeah, God, I haven't seen this for ages ago. But no, it's very overwhelming.
Just so yeah, we should watch a little bit of this, because it's just astonishing. And it's a great sequence, and there's so many great sequences in the Raid 2. The nightclub scene, how long did that take to put together?
Which one, with the attack on him?
Yeah.
We shot that for about 4 days, I think. Was it 4 days, 5 days? 4 days for the shot inside the club, yeah. And then we had extra stuff then for outside with the snow. Nah, this is my favorite. I love that move. Okay, so that one I'm going to tell you, because I got that from somewhere. Like, that one was a move that I'd seen happen, and it was slightly different in terms of the execution. But it was a movie called why can't I remember it now?
Jackie
Ah.
Chan, right?
Was it called? No. I think it was called The Naughty Boys or something. Like, Jackie Chan has this stunt guy called Mars who always works with him on every film. There's a film, I'm pretty sure it's called The Naughty Boys or Naughty Boys. There was a sequence like that where a guy tried to jump and he just pulled the leg from him so he would slam down at the ground. It's one of my favorites. I love really rough, raw throws.
Right.
When we do these things, like we keep like the punches and kicks and that, all kind of the technique really like see that. But then whenever we do throws, we try to make them rough, right? Like the grab is like it's not clean. It's like it's always like a slightly wrong grab, not a perfect
Like
execution.
grab.
Yeah. So it's slightly WWF almost in some of the elements of it as well.
And so, are you a fan of like the old Shaw Brothers movies as well, like, or is it more the Jackie Chan, like the Three Dragons?
For me, I like both for different reasons.
Right.
My preference is the Jackie Chan stuff.
Yeah.
It's because there's that rhythm.
It's
and
so
that,
fast.
Yeah. And we stole a lot from the idea of Jackie when he makes these scenes. There's like a percussive element to it.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's really important, and we love that.
I'm getting caught up in this. And so the Raid 2, obviously there's gangster movies in there, there's Yakuza movies as well. What kind of films influenced the Raid 2?
I got caught away by watching it.
Yeah, exactly.
Sparked out the fuck then and now. Sorry. Yeah, Yakuza movies are a big influence. Like Takashi Miike stuff, I kind of borrowed a lot of Takashi Miike stuff. Some of those more larger-than-life eccentric characters in some of those scenes, like the dildo girl is clearly like a reference to like Miike type of humor.
Yeah.
Although I did hold mine back a little, because for mine it was just a girl with a dildo coming out, which even then my dad disagreed with on the script format.
Oh, right, okay,
But,
that's interesting.
But like, it was kind of like a reference to Dead or Alive. Have you seen Dead or Alive, the Miike film?
Yeah.
There's that scene where the cop is interrogating this porn operator guy.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this fucking dog runs out into the hallway. Getting chased by a cameraman and a naked girl just lying there waiting. It's like, that was a fucked up joke, and I wanted to do something like that, but with tying in some Indonesian culture into it as well, because when he says about like where did you get this guy from? It's my one and only Indonesian joke, and it can't play in Indonesia because of the scene, right? So she says, where'd you get it from? He says like jockey. Now jockey in Indonesian is we have certain roads where you can have 3 people in the car. You have to have 3 people in the car in order to ride those roads at certain times of day. And so a jockey is a person that stands on the side of the road and just puts their finger up, so that like if you want, you pay them like $1 or $2, they'll get in the car with you and drive down that road.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so it's the idea of this poor kid that just put his finger up one day and ends up getting fucked up the arse in the porn den, you know. So yeah, it works really well in Indonesia, except for the fact that no one's fucking seen it.
No, it's funny you mention your dad, because I know that he's kind of a big influence on you, and in terms of how you deal with violence. Coming
and this seems like the apt moment to talk about violence, right?
It really is, and perfect. So we've got this moment where Rama slits his throat, but then that's it, throws it away, he moves on. Like, there's no cruelty there, and there's no sadism, and I know that's important to you in terms of your relationship with your dad. And
it's like this thing, like my dad always kind of had this thing of like, it's okay to be visceral, it's okay to be extreme, but just don't like focus on pain and suffering. Like there's like that line you don't cross on it. And for me, like it's not, I don't have a problem with watching films like that. You know, like I mean, I love Ichi the Killer, and there's so many torture scenes in that film. But I love that film. I think it's an incredible movie. My dad hates that film.
Right.
But for me, when it comes to something I make, you know, it's just a line that I personally choose not to cross. And in the Raid 2, like we have like 2 moments which kind of test the waters a little bit on that. Like there's one scene in the restaurant with like a box cutter and about 5 necks. But for me on that one, again, we keep the camera wide, we keep the camera back. We don't cut to a close-up of somebody being killed. And so then literally on those moments happening as well, it's not about focusing on those people being cut. It's not about that. The scene is about how cold-hearted these 2 guys are, that during that moment they can conduct a business meeting. That they can just talk casually and calmly while these poor guys are being just treated like they don't matter. And it's just a chore. Each one's a chore. And so the last one then is like the shotgun blast. And when it comes to the shotgun blast, like the idea is like this: like you got 2 people in the frame, and obviously your eyes are going to get drawn to the visceral element of that shotgun blast. Then I held the shot for like another 10 seconds, and it's almost like a question to the audience, like not like a challenge, like 'cause it's not like funny games. Something like I love funny games, but I'm not like you know provoking a serious discussion here. But it's just a challenge. It's like this thing of like it's a question mark. So it's like Okay, so that's happened. You've seen that now. Are you looking at his reaction now? Are you looking at how he is responding to this moment? Or are you still getting your fix on this?
Yeah, exactly.
And like, but keep it in a wide shot, so it's still not like in there with detail, but it's just where's your gaze? Where does that morbid urge to gaze go?
So the choice is for the audience.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
not. Oh, great. Yeah. And how does it feel to watch these films when they're finished? Like watching them with an audience, like you must be very proud.
Both
of them, yeah.
We make.
Ya, puas pastinya, bangga dengan udah hasilnya yang kerja keras 7 bulan kita syuting di beranda di Dread 2 ini kurang lebih 3 bulan 4 bulan.
Yes, 3 bulan setengah.
3 bulan setengah dan semua ya kita kerja, ada yang 2 hari kita not sleep at all. Ada satu yang scene yang saya like I make it the whole for
dan kompak.
Ya, pakai kompak dan semua ternyata kerja keras kita terbayar dari audience, ngelihatnya semua apa yang kita lihat di action ataupun drama banyak reaksi.
Okay, so this is a long one, yeah, shit. Okay, so basically what you're saying is like this idea that when it came to the films and stuff, it's one of those things where we work so hard on them, and the idea is like, you know, for the Raid 2, like it was like 7 months of shooting. For this one, we did about 3.5 months of shooting. Basically he says like, you know, there'll be days when, you know, people don't know like the behind the scenes stuff. People don't know that like there'd be like 2 days where we just barely slept, that we had like an hour to sleep, and then we just carried on working. And you know, and so when we go into the cinema then and we get to share that moment with people and we get to hear their enthusiasm and their responses, like it's just like it makes them very proud, and it makes me feel proud too. It's this thing of being able to just sit there and watch it, and then like it's like we've reached that point now because of the first one. We watched the first one so many times as an audience that we knew like, oh, okay, this works. Oh, okay. So when it came to part 2 then, there'd be certain scenes where we were editing and we'd be like, oh, that's going to get a reaction, this will get a reaction. But it's the stuff where it's the subtle moments when they get a connection, when it connects to an audience, that's like food for us. Like there's nothing better in the world than sitting in a movie that we've made and then watch with an audience and they just respond to it. So for me in the Raid 2, it's basically when Hammer Girl and Baseball Batman get given their orders to go kill him, and then like as she's being dragged by Baseball Batman, she reaches back to grab her hammers. The audience laughs. And the fact that they pick up on it, the fact that they connect to that, the fact that they understand that this is all about like these two characters are kind of almost weirdly childlike and loss of innocence and stuff like that. But yet they're so violent. I'm just glad that worked, because that was a last-minute addition that we kind of improvised on set.
Oh wow, wonderful!
So I was like, oh, I think this will work, Julie. Just trust me. I think this will work. It'll give something to your character. And then we did it, and then now audiences, like literally every single audience so far, has had a response to that moment.
And I do have to say, you really should go and see this at the cinema. It really is a big screen experience, and those moments where like you share the sort of the reactions with your fellow audience members, it really is important that you go and see it on the big screen. But moving on from that, you actually wrote the Raid 2 before the Raid, is that right? So how did it feel to finally sort of call action on that movie?
Like a relief. It was one of those things, I mean, after the first one came out, like, I got offered a few projects outside and a few things to do, like some in the US, some in the UK. But my thinking was always like, it has to be really, really special to take me away from this, to take me away from doing part 2. And so it was like an itch I couldn't scratch for 2 years, and then I went off to make this film, and then 3 years later, suddenly, oh, we can do it now. So there was never any doubt in my mind, like this was the one I wanted to do, this is one I had to do. And so I'm glad now that we finally got to do it. And that first day of the shoot, like knowing that we were going to film this, like it's like everything we do. It's like since Moranto into this and into the Raid 2, it's like it never stops being a privilege. And we always feel kind of lucky really that we get to do this stuff. It's stupid that this has worked to us. Maybe exception for him, because he gets beaten to shit every day.
And so what are you working on now? What's next for you guys?
Working on a new project, producing for Timur Chayanta to direct, called The Night Comes For Us. Joe Taslim from the Raid 1 is going to be in the lead role.
Oh, cool.
Yayan is going to be playing an old assassin.
Oh, cool.
He's getting typecast as old assassin.
I'm the crew now.
Yeah, you're the choreography team now.
Oh, cool.
So Iko's helping. We're working on the choreography together. And we're setting that up, ready to start shooting in June 15th, and then hopefully it'll be ready to, start playing sometime end of next year then. Okay. Because we want a big long post-production on that one.
And in terms of your next directorial project,
can
you tell us?
2 in development.
Right, great.
One is with Universal for me to make over here in the UK.
Oh, cool.
And that one is it's a true story, and it's actually about the biggest cash robbery in UK history.
Oh, cool.
About an MMA fighter
Right.
who ended up not being able to fight anymore, and then ended up doing that cash robbery. So it's a little bit of it's a fascinating film. It's a bit like Chopper mixed with Ocean's 11.
Oh, wow. That sounds great.
And then after that, I have another one in development, which is with MRC in the US, and that's for me to make in the US.
Oh, cool.
And that'll be like a gangster action film that I'm writing myself. But
Oh,
like
excellent.
all of those things will be with these guys.
Great.
They'll be handling my action all the time.
Fantastic.
'Cause, yeah, we've just been working together on 3 films, and I just want to keep doing that.
And just quickly over the credits, I've got to talk to you about the Raid remake, which obviously, a lot of people are kind of against remakes, but I think we should stay positive. It could be cool.
For me, it makes sense because it's like it's not like the remake is just to remove the subtitles. It's not like that.
Exactly.
It's like if it was like that, if it was like a film like I'm not gonna say Old Boy this time. I'm gonna say like The Ring or Cairo or something when they remade it as Pulse and then they kind of stripped it down. For me, it's like this. Those films are so special, and you can't deviate from the plot structure of those films. Like you have to keep it the same. If you deviate in the slightest and it goes in the wrong direction, suddenly you make the weaker version of it. And so when it comes to the Raid, you only have to keep the first 10 minutes the same. The action set pieces can be anything.
This is what I was going to ask. I mean, will it be a new direction? Maybe not a building.
Well, it'll probably be a building, but like they can do anything with the architecture.
Yeah.
They can make it look completely different. There's so many things they can do with it.
Yeah.
Add rooms, add structural stuff, add something on the outside. It could be like a square block building with an open area in the middle. It could be anything wrong. And so for me, I think it's interesting to see what they come up with, how they're going to do it. And the fact they've hired Patrick Hughes to do it is a great sign because like Red Hill was great. It's really great. And so as long as they give him that flexibility and the freedom to just take it and roll with it, I've got no doubt in my mind he'll do something special with it.
And I spoke to your mate Scott Adkins
last
week.
Scott's awesome.
Yeah, and I asked him if he'd be interested in the Raid remake, and after he called you a poet a couple of times, he said that he would be very keen. Is he someone that...
we love Scott. Like Scott's a great fighter and stuff like that.
He's
We'd love to kind of
amazing.
work
Have you
with
seen
him.
Ninja 2?
Yeah.
How good is
And
that?
he's such a good fighter. So we really want to. I want to work with him myself at some point anyway.
Great.
But I know for sure like that. I think he would fit like a glove in the Raid remake.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed he can get a role in there as one of the main fighters in some respect or another.
But back to this one. Thank you so much for making this film. I love it so much, and thank you for the Raid 2 as well. We gave it 5 stars. In the
I know.
magazine,
Thank you for that. Really.
Yeah, no, we really do love it, and I hope it's very successful for you guys.
Thank you so much. Cheers, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.